This is SHRM Global Radio in partnership with Timber Media, Podcasters for India Inc.
Welcome to SHRM Global Radio. I'm your host Neerja, and today we are diving into one of the most talked about, surveyed, analyzed, and occasionally misunderstood words in the workplace: employee engagement. Employee engagement is that magical metric that shows up in board decks and makes leaders lean forward and say, why did we drop 3 points in Q3? The one that somehow turns into an employee problem when scores dip. But here's the reality. Engagement is not something employees are solely responsible for generating between meetings. Engagement is a leadership outcome. When employees are engaged, productivity goes up, loyalty strengthens, profitability improves, turnover and absenteeism decrease. Engaged employees show up, contribute to ideas, and collaborate effectively. They care about customer experience. They influence the success of the organization. So, if engagement has that much impact, we have to ask the obvious question: who shapes it? Here's the engagement plot twist. Leaders often say engagement matters, and they invest in platforms, surveys, and dashboards. But the data tells us that what truly drives engagement is not software, it is behavior. When employees feel their work has a purpose, engagement rises dramatically. It is imperative that leaders provide clear direction, or else it would mean that most employees are doing important work without clarity on where the ship is headed. The single biggest driver of engagement is employees believing the organization's leadership genuinely cares about them, and not merely caring in a rhetorical corporate kumbaya manner, but in a human way. And yet, surveys indicate only 28% of employees agree that leadership genuinely cares about their health and well-being. Not surprising, then, that empathy plays a huge role too. 76% of employees who said they have empathetic managers reported being highly engaged at their workplace. That is a massive number. But here's the catch. 52% of employees surveyed said leadership empathy feels disingenuous. In other words, people can tell when empathy is scripted. Recognition is another powerful lever. When leaders prioritize genuine recognition, employees feel more engaged. Still, employees say they do not get enough recognition at work. If engagement were a recipe, the ingredients would be clear direction, genuine care, real empathy, and meaningful recognition. The problem is that leaders are often too busy to consistently use them. So let's look at leaders as engagement architects. Here's the fun part. Leaders are more influential than they sometimes realize. Every time a manager clarifies priorities instead of creating confusion, engagement shifts. Every time a leader listens instead of interrupting, engagement shifts. Every time recognition is specific instead of generic, engagement shifts. So you see, it's not about grand gestures. It is about daily signals. Employees are constantly asking themselves 3 questions. Does my work matter? Does my leader care about me or my role or my output? Do I feel seen here? Leaders answer these questions whether they intend to or not. You might have an idea of what that's like. The medium is the message, and so on. Inferences will be drawn and perceptions will take shape regardless. So what can leaders actually do that moves the needle? Turns out leaders can try 3 practical moves that actually work. First, make employees feel like individuals. Nobody wants to feel like a wallflower or a mere cog in a corporate machine. When employees feel interchangeable, engagement drops fast. Leaders can reverse that by giving personalized recognition, celebrating both professional and personal milestones, offering flexibility that respects life outside of work, and supporting employees in building skills they genuinely care about. When people feel seen as individuals, not just roles, engagement grows naturally. Second, build a health-focused culture. Culture cannot be outsourced. It is modeled in meetings, in feedback, and in how leaders respond to pressure. Healthy cultures include diverse perspectives, open communication, space for different opinions, and recognition of effort. They also include something radical: fun. A result obsessed hustle culture often drains engagement. A healthy culture focused on sustainable performance and well being tends to produce better results over time. Third, connect work to meaning constantly. Even in a supportive environment, engagement stalls if employees do not understand why their work matters. Leaders must connect daily tasks to the organization's mission, goals, and impact. This starts on day one and continues in one-on-one conversations. When employees see the ripple effect of their contributions, motivation shifts from compliance to commitment. So, what's the big takeaway? What is the truth of the matter? While employees ultimately choose how they show up each day, leaders design the conditions that make engagement possible. If people lack direction, that's on leadership. If empathy feels performative, that too is on the leadership. If recognition is rare, that's definitely on the leadership team. But hey, it's not all gray skies. If work feels meaningful and supportive, that is leadership too. Engagement does not rise because employees decide to try harder. It rises when leaders create clarity, demonstrate genuine care, and consistently reinforce purpose. So the next time engagement scores come in and you're feeling unimpressed, instead of asking, what is wrong with our employees? A better question might be, what signals are we sending every day? Because employee engagement is not a mystery. It is, however, a mirror. Thank you for tuning in to SHRM Global Radio. I'm your host, Neerja. Join us next time as we continue unpacking the leadership behaviors, workplace trends, and bold ideas shaping the future of work. Until then, remember, engagement is not something employees owe you. It is something leadership creates.
This is SHRM Global Radio in partnership with Timber Media, Podcasters for India Inc.